Hey guys, welcome to FreckleFace Finance, where we discuss personal finances open and honestly so that you can live the life that you deserve. I have really grown to look forward to these videos. It really forces me to sit down and look over my finances from the month before and the month coming up. So if you guys are interested in how I budget and taking a deep dive into this month's finances, then keep on watching. So before we get into March's finances, of course we have to look over February's goals to see if we were on track or if we need to make improvements for March. So my first goal for February was to stick with my half marathon training. And I did not hit that goal. Although I did run consistently for 2 weeks, once I went out of town on vacation, it was really difficult for me to run because it was extremely hot. And I wasn't that familiar with the area, so I didn't feel comfortable running after dark. So a lot of those workouts just did not happen. And then when I came back into town, it was really hard to pick back up on that schedule. And so I did miss a few workouts, so I was not successful in hitting my half marathon training goals for the month of February. Now, I will give myself credit. I did walk a lot and I did a workout while I was in Panama, but I'll show you guys that in a second when we talk about the other February goals that I had. So I'm not sure if you guys know where I went, but if you follow me on Instagram, then you'll know that I actually went to Panama. It was a beautiful, beautiful country. So if you guys watched my February reset, then you saw that I actually went to Panama for essentially free. So I had a lot of credit card points, I had hotel points, and so I was able to get my flight and hotel covered 100%. So my second goal for February was to stick to my travel budget. And so my travel budget for this trip for Panama was to only spend $600. That was my financial goal for this trip. And so we're gonna walk through my expenses for February, and so I'll be able to show you guys exactly what I spent while I was in Panama. And I also wanna give myself some credit because I did like a fitness type of thing, like I did a bike tour. And so although that wasn't, in line with my traditional half marathon training, I did make sure to stay active while I was there, and I typically just like doing stuff like that anyways, so it wasn't like very far-fetched for me to do that. My third goal for February was to not eat out at any restaurants, and I did not. I did not hit that goal, y'all. And like when you're going out of town, it was just really difficult for me because trying to actually plan the logistics of doing that, because I knew I was going out of town like in the middle of the week. And so try not to buy too many groceries and meal prep that I would waste food, but then also like being stuck with trying not to eat out. So it was not like, it did not line up very well. And so I did eat out once before I went to Panama. And then when I came back, it was just all downhill from there. So like I came back on a Sunday, I got back pretty late. And so I don't count Sunday as eating out, but Monday, like the next day, I definitely ate out. So just meal prepping did not happen. And so I know that I did spend some money at restaurants this month. And so we're gonna get into how bad the damage was when we go through the monthly expenses. Oh my gosh. So you guys, I am 0 for 3. Just sitting down and making this video, I definitely think that, it puts things into perspective that I did not hit a single goal that I had in February. And so hopefully March goes a lot better. All right, you guys, so once we walk through the February expenses, I'm hoping that I'll be able to notice any type of behavior patterns that will indicate why I was unable to hit any of my February goals. So let's get into the March goals. So for March, I definitely want to carry over the goal from February, which is to focus on half marathon training, because I am within the 12-week window, and so I have to make sure that I'm hitting all of those workouts because I don't want to cross the finish line last, even though, I ain't too proud to do so, but I want to make sure that I'm putting forth my best effort. So I need to make sure that I hit way more of my workouts in March than I did in February. And so I do want to carry over that exact same goal to only miss 3 workouts in the month of February when it comes to half marathon training. So my goal for March is to increase my debt payoff from February. So I already know that in February I paid a lot towards my debt. And so in March, I want to make sure that maybe I can increase it just a little bit. And the goal is to beat the payments that I made in February towards my debt payoff. So I'm really excited to go over my debt payoff for February with you guys. I haven't been able to calculate it all up together in one place just quite yet because I was making the payments sporadically. And so I'm really interested myself to see how much I paid off on my debt in February. I also know that we are pretty much into 90 days of 2024, and so I am working on a debt payoff video for you guys so that we can kind of, you know, keep myself and you guys accountable for paying. So we are pretty much 90 days into 2024. So I'm really excited into looking into my debt payoff so far into 2024. And I'll make sure that I make a video for you guys just so that I can hold myself accountable. And then if you guys are following my journey and doing a debt payoff as well, then we can make sure that we're keeping each other accountable. So I'll work on that video sometime this month, so be on the lookout for it. So last but not least, my third goal is to enjoy some quality time with my family. I know that that is not financial based, but I am seeing my family at the end of the month. I have a special baseball game that I'm going with my brother and my dad to, and so my third goal is to relax and enjoy my time at the baseball game. And so I want to make sure that I'm being mindful of how much I'm spending while I'm visiting my family, but I also want to make sure that I'm not, you know, letting finances keeping me from enjoying some good quality time at the baseball game, because y'all know the concessions is really expensive. So I'm gonna try to budget in, you know, at least buy my dad like a snack or something, you know what I mean? So my third goal is to make sure that I have a good time, not go too crazy, but, you know, just make sure that I'm having a good time and that my dad is having a good time. All right, you guys, I know y'all are really here for the expenses, but let me tell you about my Panama trip just really quickly. I went to Panama in the middle of February. I had such a good time, you guys. It was so relaxing. It was very warm. Like I said, I had really bad sunburn, but the activities that I did were so fun. And so I went on a boat cruise, which was about $99. I did salsa lessons, which were $30. I did a bar crawl, which, you know, I was able to go out, meet people, socialize, have some drinks. That was $50. And then I did a bike tour, which was $35. And so a lot of the activities that I did, they either came with free drinks, food, or both. So for example, the bike tour that I did, that came with a stop at a fresh seafood market. So I got fresh ceviche. The boat cruise that I went on, we went to Tobago Island. And so that came with lunch, that came with unlimited drinks. And so a lot of the activities that I did actually cut out expenses for me. So I had such a good time, you guys. So if you guys ever get the opportunity to go to Panama, I definitely recommend it. You guys can check out my vlogging channel. I'll put it up here somewhere. I haven't made the video yet because I am so busy, but I promise that the vlog is coming out, you guys, if you are checking for that. So if you're interested in how the trip went, which, spoiler alert, it went amazing. But if you're interested in like actually seeing a vlog for it and any type of tips, I plan on putting that on my vlogging channel. All right, so without further ado, I know y'all really came here to get in my business. And so let's get into my budget for March, as well as going over my expenses for February. Okay, one more thing. I know I'm so annoying, but I love planning out my month in my planner. And so let me just give y'all a quick little blurb about my planner. So this is the Everyday Girl. I have been using their planners for years. If anybody is watching my video from Everyday Girl, y'all should sponsor me because I absolutely love y'all planners. I get them at Target, and this is probably my third year using them. I absolutely love them. And so this is kind of like how I plan out my month. And so I love to, at the beginning of every month, to write out where my debt stands at that month on each card. And that just really motivates me to make sure that I'm paying it off and it's right dead set and center in my face every time I open my planner. And so I just love like the markers and the sticker books. Like the sticker books that I use are from Happy Planner. Again, if you're watching from Happy Planner, you should sponsor me because I mean, oh my gosh. look at all of these. This isn't even my full sticker collection. I'm obsessed. So yes, anyways, how I like to lay out my planner is at the beginning of every month, I love to write out little quotes for myself, just very positive messages for myself that I want to make sure that I'm keeping in mind for this month. I like to make sure that my debt is totaled on the monthly page so that I have to look at it every single day that I open my planner. And then I also like keep a savings tracker. And I know I keep all of this electronically, but I just love to write it down. It's just kind of like, you know, once you get into habit of doing something, it's hey, I'm writing this down. I'm reminding myself it's everywhere, right? I also keep I'm looking at it right now, a bulletin board in my room, or cork board in my room, of every single payment that I have to pay towards my debt until I'm debt free. So yeah, if you guys are interested in anything like this, I'll see if I can find a link on Amazon so that you guys can take a look and purchase it if you have not had a planner this year yet. So anyways, let me go ahead and get into my monthly expenses for February. And so if we come up here to where is my money going, it shows that 17% of my money went to bills, 26% to expenses, 26% to savings, and 30% to debt. So, oh my gosh. I know I paid off a lot of debt in February, but I didn't realize it was 30% of my income. So I'm really proud of that. And so let's go ahead and look at these red places, because that will show areas where I went over budget. And so for education, that was because I needed to reschedule my PMP exam. And so a PMP is a project management professional. I scheduled to take the exam and I just did not have time to study. So I had to reschedule that exam, and so that was a $70 fee that I did not anticipate having to make. And so I also went over in gifts. And so it was my friend's birthday, and so I budgeted that I was going to spend $200. I actually went over an extra $100, which that is a lot of money to over budget, or to go over in the budget. But that is because we ended up, like, I took my friend out, and then the next day their friend took them out as well, and it was like a group setting type of thing. So we ended up going to bowling and getting dinner, and so of course I wanted to pay that for my friend, and so that's why I went over budget a little bit in that category. Now, I also went over budget in housing, and if you have a house, you know, because it's always something unexpected. I don't even see how I was able to get away with saying I was going to spend $0 in February on my house, because it's always something. And so yeah, I had to pay $634, and that was because the downstairs shower was clogged up, and so it wasn't draining properly. The dishwasher stopped working, so yeah, and then I also had to replace a Roomba. So all of that came up to $634. Miscellaneous, I didn't budget anything for miscellaneous, and I went over $708. So let's go ahead and see what was the miscellaneous. Oh, so Usher concert. I was obviously not anticipating going to the Usher concert, but I ended up purchasing tickets to go, and so that was part of the miscellaneous amount. And what else? 500. Oh, okay. So this is the Reds opening day, and so my brother did pay me back for the Reds opening day. I purchased it on my credit card, and then my brother paid me back, and so my portion of this is really like 200 and something. And so that is for my ticket and then half of my dad's ticket. So me and my brother, we went in on purchasing my dad Red's opening day tickets. So that is the other, let's see, 500 of the, oh, that should be all of it. So yeah, that is why I have the miscellaneous overspending in that category. Parking, oh, that's not a big deal. I only went over $1. And personal care. So, and I remember in my last monthly reset, I said that I was really on the fence on whether or not I wanted to get, you know, braids, because I was going out of town, and if I was going to get my nails done. So I ended up getting the braids and opting out of getting my nails done so that I can save a little bit of money in this category. And even with saving that money, I still went over $44. So, oops. And then for restaurants, I had budgeted that I wasn't going to spend anything. And I think a better strategy for this month is to not say I'm not going to spend anything, but I think the better way to look at it is to try to decrease how I'm spending, because that is to be spending that much and eating out and then just going turkey and then just going straight cold turkey and not spending anything. I think I just underestimated the discipline that was going to take. And so I'm going to change that going forward in March to try to decrease it little by little until I completely cut it out. So I was able to click through real quick, and I see that for January I spent $449 on restaurants, and in February I spent $395. So it did go down a little bit, and so it was just unrealistic. I had big dreams thinking that I could just cut restaurants out completely, because that just did not happen. So yeah, so the goal for March is to decrease how much I'm spending in restaurants and not just cut it out completely, because I failed miserably. So tolls, I only went over $2. That's not that bad. And so for travel, and let me see. So travel, I allotted $600 and I went over $600, but I told y'all how much like the excursions and stuff like that cost. So the reason I went over in travel is because I ended up purchasing, I got invited to a wedding that's a destination wedding. And so they had a very like specific time in which you had to put down a deposit to reserve a room. And so after I made my budget for February, I noticed that the time frame in which I had to make my deposit was gonna like be on the edge of February and March. So I went ahead and just made the deposit so that I can make sure that I secure my spot in order to attend their wedding. So that was one of the things that I went over on. So let's see what else occurred in the expenses category for travel. Oh, and so another thing that caused me to go over in the travel budget was the Uber to the airport and from the airport. Like, it was so expensive. So yeah, it cost me $64 to go from my house to the airport. And I think it was like 70 something, let me see. And yeah, it was $75. No. It was, yeah, $73 when I was coming back. So very, very expensive Uber trips. So that is what, those two things caused me to go over in the travel budget as well. And let me see if there's anything else. Oh, and then I bought my flight to Cincinnati for the Reds opening day game, which I wasn't anticipating buying in February. But since I went ahead and bought the Reds tickets, like to the actual game, I just wanted to make sure that I had a way to get to the game. And so I just went ahead and bought my ticket in February. So I don't want to just only focus on the areas where I didn't, or I went over budget and I didn't hit my goal. I am green in the clothing area, so I didn't spend all the money I allotted in my budget. Gas was down, even though it's only $12, but still. And then I spent $151 less in groceries than I was anticipating. So I just want to show those areas of green because, you know, there are a lot of areas of red. I was underspending in some categories as well. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and set my budget for March. So for Amazon, I don't plan on spending anything business, don't plan on spending anything car. So I need to make sure that I start saving for a car repair because I can tell that my car is gonna need it's gonna need some extra love here pretty soon. Every time I cut on my car, I feel like I gotta turn the key and pray. So we're gonna allot $100 to my car fund. Oop, I put that in the wrong box. So we're gonna do $100 for March. Clothing shouldn't, oh, you know what, I'm gonna put $100 because I want to look to see if I can find a Reds New Jersey. Education should be fine. Gas, what did we spend in February for gas? I think I had a budget of, so gas for February, I had a budget of $150. I know that I'm going to Cincinnati, and so I typically like to give my mom gas. So I'm gonna allot $200. Gifts, we're gonna say $50 because I know I'm gonna be in Cincinnati and my nephew has a birthday. So maybe I can talk to my sister about taking him to a fun activity. Groceries, for February we allotted $400. We're gonna do $400 again for February. For house, it's always something, so we're gonna say $100 for house. Legal fees, that's consistent. Miscellaneous, nope. Medical, nope. Parking, $15. I think I went over in that category. Personal care, we're gonna say $100 for personal care. Speeding tickets, $0. Restaurant, So for, like I said, I spend a lot of money in restaurants, and so it's really difficult for me to just go, you know, 0 to 100 or from 100 to 0. So in January I spent $449, February $395. So let's see if we can go down to $350 for March. Tolls $15. Travel, I need to put some money towards saving for travel. So we're gonna come up here, and I know I need to save for travel, so we're gonna say $300 needs to be saved for travel. I need to put $100 towards my emergency fund. Travel expenses, I will be in Cincinnati, so we're gonna say $100 for that. Uber, I have to go to the airport again, so y'all see that definitely hits my budget. So I'm going to a different airport this time than the one I flew out for Panama, so it should be a little cheaper. So I'm gonna say $75 total. So that's, ooh, but then I have to catch the Uber from in Cincinnati as well. So we're gonna say $125. So that should account for my Uber to the airport to go to Cincinnati, my Uber to my parents' house in Cincinnati, back to the airport, and then back home. Let's say $145 just to be safe. And I don't plan on spending any money on work items. Saving, so I did have to make a difficult decision to stop putting money towards one of my savings accounts. The one that I think it's like 187. Hold on. So this was a savings account where I think I was putting in like $400 a month. No, it was like $387, I think. So I'm gonna stop putting money towards that investment account and start putting that money towards my debt. So one of my goals, like I said, for March is to pay off more debt than I did in February. So that's one of my goals. I'm not putting any money towards the custodial account. I will still put money towards my Roth IRA, and so that's going to stay the same at 6666 and another digit. But yeah, this was the one. This was the one where I typically do $370 towards that investment account. I think I'm gonna do 0 towards that, and then instead put $470 towards an emergency fund. And then, or you know what, 100 towards the, I'm sorry you guys, emergency fund, and then I said I was gonna put that towards this. So $1,565 plus $300. Let's see, $1,565 plus $370, I believe, is $1,935. So let's see if we can hit 19. We should be able to. 35 towards our Capital One card. City is going to be the same. That's going to be the same. Yep. Alrighty, you guys. So that leaves us, let's see, are we, ooh, I overspent $348. How did that happen? What did I do wrong? So let me see, travel, Roth, and then for the expenses, we're not going to be able to get a jersey this year, and you know what, duh, put that stuff back, put that back. So we're going to take it from the Capital One. So we're going to contribute, let's see, pull out my 1935 minus 348 that I'm short. So we're only gonna put 158.7 towards our Capital One. Ooh, and we're short 29 cents, but I think we'll be all right. Ooh, y'all, I'm so glad that I did this, because without making a budget, I would have got a Reds jersey. I would have just been doing the unnecessary stuff, right? Just doing the most. So I'm really excited that I did my budget. So I know a jersey is not in the cards for me, which is like so sad, because you know, but I have goals and I need to stick with them if I want to see, you know, this financial success. So it is what it is. Alright you guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it even a little bit, please make sure to give me a thumbs up so it can be pushed out to a larger audience and so that I know that you like this type of content. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified of when I make future videos. And I'll see y'all in my next one. As always, I appreciate it. See you in the next one. Bye.